Oh, we are getting kicked off. All right, we are live with your grand finals. Demon versus Phantasi. I mean, we've already had a classic matchup between these two earlier today. It was just a repeat of a classic match between them in the last tournament that they faced each other. Demon did come out on top both times, but Phantasi's definitely given him the most realistic challenge. All right, there we go, guys. I got prediction up for chat. We've already seen 3 quick kills. So sorry for not really commentating on that, but Demon and Phantasi going right at each other. I think that probably benefits Demon. I think Phantasi, I don't know, that's a tough call because Phantasi can make him uncomfortable if he can get into his face. If you have an aggressive game where Phantasi can physically be in his face and make it close range, I think he has the advantage. It's difficult to do on this map. Oh, you see the rocket off the ceiling. Nice play there by Phantasi. Getting the follow-up mid-air rocket. Can he do it again? Always looking for the highlight. Really doesn't have any other weapons, though. He has a shock rifle. He would have been able to smack him down. 1 rocket away from a frag video kill, but... Oh, nice enforcer play right there. He has a shock rifle, but Demon... We've seen Demon using that stinger more than anyone else in this tournament. Mid-air rocket by Demon to answer right back. And there's the Stinger alt fire. If nothing else, it's just annoying. I think that's the first Stinger versus Stinger duel I've ever seen in Duel. Ooh, sniper versus sniper. It's gonna be tough to overcome. I mean, Phantasi's a really good sniper, but I don't think that's his competitive advantage against Demon's skill set. Right as I say that, Caster's cursed myself there. Phantasi right back into this one. Oh, the rockets just missed. Did get him on the follow-up, but man, that would have been huge, but gets him with the sniper. Phantasi right now just predicting perfectly, shooting his way back into it. But he's stuck out in the open. This is not where he wants to be. They trade shots. Demon's down to 12 HP. Is Phantasi going to find him off the spawn? He does with the enforcer. Brutal chase down. Demon gonna spawn rockets. You wonder if Demon actually is strategizing to try to deny rockets. He saw him pick up rockets, ignore shock. Headshot though by Phantasi. Showing the versatility here. We're no longer at a point where some of these players have 1 or 2 good weapons and everything else is merely okay. These guys have very well-rounded skill sets. Oh, nice rocket juggles by Demon. Again, I talked about competitive advantage, like relative skill sets. I stand by that, but that's not to say that Demon can't answer right back with rockets and flak of his own close range. I just think that his relative advantage is going to be the mid to long range, the shock sniper dueling, and then jumping in to finish him off with Stinger or Link. And maybe that's part of why we've seen so much Stinger out of him, because he can keep that distance even more with that infinite range, you know, hit scan Stinger. Oh, Link coming out from Phantasi, trying to answer back. But again, Stinger, if you back up, you get out of range of that Link. Oh, mid-air snipe by Phantasi. Maybe saved him there, so Demon couldn't go all in with that Stinger. He's going to dive right at him. Link versus Stinger. Gets that extra ticket damage, and Phantasi really won that fight before it began. You see him getting away with plenty of extra health and armor. Looking for the follow-up rocket. Eats a flak, though. Nice reaction by Demon, so maybe can chase him down if nothing else. Stims, ooh, the aggression. That's going to be a trade. The reactions here with the double snipe by Phantasi. Demon knew exactly where he was going, had the Link on him, still able to concentrate and aim through that disruption. These two are just going at each other right now, and the ability to react, to come off this spawn and know exactly where you want to go, it's very hard to teach. Something you have to learn by playing. Keep in mind, while all of this is happening, they're also timing power-ups. They're also, you know, keeping track of their health and their opponent's health. There's a lot of calculations going on in these guys' heads right now, as well as trying to concentrate on what's going on in the combat scenario. Demon, though, right now, able to push up to a 4-frag lead. Ooh, nice snipe right through the middle of the map. It's going to give him a 5-frag lead at the halfway point, and pretty good control of the map. I like that dodge up there to get off of that dodge ramp quickly. 135 over 150, and Demon right now exactly where he wants to be. So I think I actually misspoke earlier. Demon and Phantasi have actually only played each other once in one of these prior cups. Phantasi, his only losses in these cups were one to Snatch and then one to Demon. So again, advanced stat cat analysis tracking, brand new technology, revolutionary in the streaming game. Gonna give you some insight. This is before today, by the way. I'm breaking noses daily. Appreciate the bits, man. These two right now are just flying around. This looks like two fighter jets maneuvering around for an angle. Demon right on top of them. 100 HP, 4 armor, but able to get the kill, up by 10 now. And this is very close to just getting completely out of hand. And Phantasi, I don't, just missed. You really wanted that belt. When someone plays this aggressively, what it really makes you do is make quick decisions. And Demon right now, oh, the turnaround, fade away sniper. Demon just red hot right now. Nothing Phantasi could do about that. So that'll be essentially 2 maps, right? Demon coming in with a 1 map advantage. So it is now a tournament map for Demon. 1 more map when he wins it. Phantasi's going to have to win 3 straight. And that's the advantage you get, right? Coming out from the upper brackets. So we get first map pick here. Already up 2-0. Demon's going to put a lot of pressure on Phantasi. But again, that's what he has earned from being undefeated in this tournament up to this point. All right, looks like we're going to be on ASDF. This is the nice, pretty textured and meshed version. All right, predictions coming up, y'all. Get your fake money on the line.
Baby.
All right, players are already ready. Here comes your countdown. 3, 2, 1. Man, it's game time, baby. Connex 5 here in the grand finals. Demon just took Erase, giving him tournament point. He is 1 map away from continuing his clean sweep of these duel tournaments. Phantasi has given him some fits in the past. This map in particular, though, kind of an interesting pick here. I'm surprised we're not seeing Leah. I don't exactly know how the map picks changed for grand finals. May have been a different setup. The SDF, I think one that Demon's going to feel a little bit more comfortable on, but Phantasi does take an early lead. Demon bounced him up, thought we were going to see an air rocket. I mean, I guess we did see an air rocket, but kills himself in the process. We've seen that so many times today for whatever reason. Stinger chases and self-damage rockets have been the theme of this tournament. Oh, look at that. Look at that chase down by Phantasi. Just hugged the corner, went around, smacked Demon down, got him right off the spawn, and this is where Demon's aggression come back to hurt him. If someone knows his playstyle like Phantasi does, he can get some of these free kills. Air rocket, and again hits himself in the face. He's gonna have to pick up health. Catches Demon. I think he wanted to throw goo. Oh, Demon just hopped right over that goo. He might back into it though. Has to be careful. Phantasi afraid of damaging himself. You know, he probably should have just shot it. If Phantasi shoots that rocket, he probably kills himself. In any case, chases him down with the enforcers right off the spawn, up to a 4 frag lead. And when Phantasi has done well against Demon, it's looked exactly like this. Oh, Demon rockets himself. Now, Phantasi is out of rocket ammo and only has a sniper right now. Keep that in mind. Ooh, big opportunity there. Demon has him in a tough spot, looking for that. Ooh, that was a lot of pressure. Phantasi had to hit that snipe. And the follow-up again, just trying to get as much damage on the board as possible before Demon takes him down with the Enforcer. Demon back on the board, but what can he do with it? Only 15 HP. These two are playing hyper-aggressive right now, but ooh, 193 damage from those rockets. Great prediction. You thought Demon might just jump for it. Instead, baited Phantasi. I like that move. You saw Phantasi went across to the right, hit him from the other side of that pillar. You don't see a lot of folks doing that. A lot of times people will dive towards the health in the other direction. Oh, that combo just missed. Both players pretty even, not very stacked, but kind of equally not stacked. He's slowing down a little bit right as I say that. Close range rocket to rocket. You figure that's going to benefit Phantasi. It does, and he also gets that shield belt up 6-0 now. Still relatively early on in this one, given the flurry of fighting and just damage that we've seen coming out. Ooh, missing those shots. He does hit the fadeaway though, so Demon's still only 36 HP. He's got to go for health. Phantasi knows it's going to try to throw a combo up just to turn him away. Oh, he bet on the armor instead of health. Bet wrong, and again, guessed wrong. Phantasi had two opportunities there. Ultimately just smacking him down with the primary. And the sniper, one shot away, pulls out the stinger. I think he was looking for maybe the shock rifle, not sure. Pulls out the stinger instead of the link. Interesting move there. We're seeing both of these players use stinger in different situations that we're used to seeing it in the past. Ooh, looking for the home run shots. There's a sniper back and forth. Demon gets the second shot out first. Only 15 HP though. But that shield belt will be critical because it'll give him a little bit essentially of extra XP. Close range rocket. Phantasi again trying to avoid damaging himself. Has to be careful. The last time he did that, he ended up giving up a kill with no damage. Would have been better off just trading and killing both of them. He does escape. Gonna throw his shock ball out. And see, he's not even trying to combo, just trying to disrupt him. Manipulating Demon just a little bit. Catches him in midair. He's gonna have to be on the run. The big combo on Demon. Oh, it would have smacked him down if Demon. He dodged right into his face. If Demon gets hit by that shock, he's dead. Instead, pulls another one out. Both of Demon's kills have come when Phantasi was one shot away from getting the kill first. So Phantasi living on the edge with some of these fights, chasing him down there, has been well in control in the first half, but Demon actually has had more damage. And that's not uncommon. We've seen that from Phantasi in the past, where he wins games despite not winning the damage battle in Phantasi. Catching him diving for that belt. You wonder if there's a little bit of tilt action there. But remember, since the first map went to Demon, it's essentially a 2-map lead. He just has to win one map to win this tournament. Phantasi's going to have to win 3 in a row. Certainly off to a good start here, step 1. I'm very curious what the next map would be if Phantasi were to hold on to this one. Big combo. And he's caught Demon doing that a couple of times in this event. Diving at him, trying to get the finishing blow and making him eat a combo. Now that time, he kept moving through that combo and actually got the health. Phantasi needed to push him away from that health and he could have finished him off. Said he goes down. We're going to head over to Demon's perspective. See what it looks like. Oh, big rocket on Phantasi going up that lift. We've seen that so many times today. You just shoot that rocket into the corner. Unavoidable splash damage. You almost want to head up the lift and then immediately dodge off just to bait people into rocketing that. And here's those 50-50s. Oh, the mid-air rocket. Oh, smacks him down. I don't even know. That goo might have hit him. I'd be curious to see that from the replay perspective. Another air-to-air rocket takes them both out. I thought that goo was going to hit him and then the rockets were going to take him out, but instead, rockets take out both. Looking for mid-air rockets again. Nice job waiting until he landed. It was perfect timing. Stinger coming out, though. It's going to put a lot of pressure on him. Yeah, he really needed to grab that flak and hit a flak primary. Didn't happen. Nice flak ball there. I was completely blind by Phantasi. Didn't even see him there. And the alt fire. 30 damage Stinger alt fire. It's no joke. See it coming out again. Instant kill. This has been a non-stop sprint this entire match. They've had no time to collect themselves. It's been kind of scrambly. And yet Phantasi coming out on top, and that's a good sign for him. I thought that type of gameplay, I think, would benefit Demon. Gives you less time to think, less time to set up some of the setups, frankly, some of the traps and things that I think Phantasi really excels at. Thinking a straight just brawl, I think Demon probably comes out on top. But that said, I mean, Phantasi coming out with a pretty solid win at this point, 13-4. Certainly not over yet, but given that Demon is stopping the type, I'm presuming that he's just sort of playing this one out to keep warm for the next map. A quick look at the scoreboard. And another air rocket coming out. Phantasi with 6 belts to 1. I mean, that's really going to be huge. Actually did take the health or take the damage lead towards the end as well. You see the mind games. Demon basically saying, I've got 2 minutes on the clock to play mind games. Now, you need to keep in mind, Phantasi is actually one of the admins for this event, so... so if he really wanted to, he could probably make up some rules on the spot or something. I don't know. I'm not sure how the rules Gestapo works for this Duel Cup. Alright, so we're playing this one out. It's essentially garbage time. I think Demon maybe playing some mind games. Like, he knows this one's over. I think he's actually just making Phantasi stick around. Maybe hurting his momentum, right? Phantasi was on a roll. Kind of slowed down in the last minute or so as they were sort of chatting and stuff. A little bit of gamesmanship. These two know each other very, very well. So, yeah. Phantasi's gonna go ahead and end his own spree, not even allowing Demon to get the satisfaction of ending it. So right now it's gonna be 2 maps to 1, so it'll be 2 maps to Demon, 1 map to Phantasi. So it's still tournament point as far as maps are concerned for Demon. Phantasi's gonna have to win the next 2 in order to win. Phantasi crapping out a bio ball for us at the end there. In any case, I mean, it was back and forth early on, but Phantasi running away with it in the second half. There haven't been many map losses by Demon in these tournaments. That might be the first map loss we've seen. I'm not actually sure off the top of my head if we saw anyone push him to 3 before. We are on solo. This is an intriguing one, actually. Okay. Yeah, I could. This is a tricky one.
Hail to the king, baby.
Breaking noses, this is essentially, it's best of 5. Demon basically came in with a 1 map advantage. So he's up 2-1 right now. So it's first to 3. All right, players are ready. Here's your countdown. 3, 2, 1, and it's game time, baby. ConX5. Here in our grand finals, this is, we'll call it map number 4, 2 map to 1 advantage for Demon. It is tournament point for him. But we did just see Phantasi running away on ASDF, and this is a map that, from my money, isn't so different as far as the size, the complexity, A lot of prediction coming into play. And close range fights over the pickups. If Phantasi can make it a close range scrambling kind of fight like he did last game, he has an opportunity to continue this match. Demon, of course, looking to secure yet another cup win. Hasn't lost a match in these community cups. He was 10-0 coming into the day. I think he's won another, what, four matches at this point? Rockets, you see him just baiting him into the rockets, trying to get that free damage, and he does. Slides under to get that under armor, gets another rocket on him, and the headshot. Phantasi just juggling him, facing death, bats him around like a cat, and then eats the rockets right back at him. And you see that wasn't even a bind. Demon actually stopped to type that. I wouldn't even call it chippiness between these two because they know each other so well. See them trading tags with that sniper rifle back and forth. Phantasi going to try to stay in control of that map, though. Not wanting to... I don't think he wants to get into long-range sniper battle necessarily. Demon, though, down to 5 HP. Surprised, that you haven't seen Enforcer come out. I don't think Phantasi quite realizes just how low he was. 1 health vial away from death there. Oh, had the shot he wanted. Had another shot that he wanted. Demon just raining down rockets. There it is. I was like, such a dangerous play, backing down into those health bubbles. There's one sniper looking for another. 1 HP for Phantasi, gets the kill on Demon and the shield belt. I don't know if Demon understands just how weak he was there, but I'm sure he will know shortly after the match. I doubt Phantasi will let him forget that. Rockets coming out. Stinger coming out against Link. They've been liking this combination. Pulling out Stinger against Link. Demon gonna back away, so heavy respect. Not standing in there. Oh, and the turnaround snipe, though, by Phantasi. I was surprised to even see him switch to snipe. You saw Demon, though, again, endlessly aggressive, trying to get in behind him and cut him off despite having basically no health. Oh, there's another torpedo by the air rockets of Phantasi. Looking for the rocket grenade. Maybe just trying to push him away as much as anything. Still 10 seconds to that belt spawns. Looking for the mid-air rocket, and he pins him down. Smacks him out of the sky. Another air rocket. Phantasi, I don't know what the record is for air rockets in a tournament match, but Phantasi might be gunning for that right now. So up 6-1, dictating the flow of the map. Dead even on damage, but those pickups, 3 belts to nothing, really telling the story. I think more than anything, Phantasi's been able to dictate the flow of the match. Ooh, nice prediction combo. Has Demon really confused at the moment. Just doesn't know where Phantasi's coming from. Whoa, weird little glitchy business there. I'm not sure if that was on my side or Phantasi's side. Could have been a little internet hiccup. Nice patience there. You saw him waiting for him to dive off the wall, knowing that he could have dodged his rocket at any moment. Good consistent play, and that rocket right there. Not everyone can hit that. He makes it look easy. Phantasi turns the corner, smacks him with the shock primary, finishes him off with a rocket straight to his feet. Most people don't even make that weapon switch, let alone hit that rocket. Phantasi really settling into his playstyle. Oh, I had the combo. Oh, and Demon dives right back into it. Yeah, I don't know. Demon looking a little shaky right now. This just might not be his map. I mean, again, these players know each other very well. This might be a map where Demon knows it's just free for Phantasi. I don't know that for a fact, but his oh, and another Phantasi. That is just, or excuse me, another headshot for Phantasi. That is just demoralizing. And Phantasi running away with it. There's the concession. 5 minutes in. Big win by Phantasi. All right, things are getting interesting. So, if I'm not mistaken, That means it all comes down to this last map, right? All right, here's your predictions. Get them in. Deep will be the final map of this tournament. It will determine our winner. So I don't know if anyone in chat is familiar with these two, their matchup on Deep. I've definitely seen Phantasi play it more in tournament matches. All right, here we go. We're getting kicked off. Your countdown is live, 3, 2, 1, and it's game time, baby. Connex 5 here with the grand final, last map of this tournament. Winner takes it all. Phantasi, first one to take maps off of Demon, really has given him his greatest challenge in recent tournaments. Coming up from the lower bracket, winning 2 out of 3, forcing the winner take all map 5 here. Two players very familiar with each other. We've seen that come into play. Lots of prediction, knowing the moves, knowing where they tend to cross the maps. Ooh, you see that fall away Stinger alt fire doing 120 damage. He gets the telefrag. Demon with the first telefrag of the tournament. And I think that'll be Demon's first lead in quite some time in this matchup. Oh, Phantasi, though, baits him into rockets, grabs the shield belt, takes him out, and it looks like Phantasi looking to push it. Again, if he can make this a close to medium range fight, his sniper has been on point anyway in the final. But if he can make this a rockets, flak, even short range combos type of matchup, definitely benefits him. See him baiting him, waiting for him to head. Ooh, nice move by Demon, goes up top. Counter the counter. He's still up top, so we can jump down to that 100 armor. We can try to push him off. Remember, you can get knocked backwards off of that platform, off the map for an instant death. Nice dodge by Phantasi. And another midair rocket, 100 damage right into his face. Gonna try to finish him off with Link. Dangerous to dive in against Flat. But 1 HP for Demon. He's pulling out the sniper. He could have Enforcer out just as easily. Oh, but the overkill just explodes him. Couple of 100 extra damage there for no reason at all. Just styling now, but 2 to 1. Phantasi on top and in the driver's seat. Still tons of time left to go, though. All right, things slowing down a little bit. Both players backing up. Both getting a little bit stacked up. Demon with 135 HP. Ooh, that flak ball just touched him. Didn't do much. But it might have scared him away. You do have 8 seconds till the 100 armor. Still about 30 till belt. So what does Demon do right now? If I'm him, I'm trying to grab some vials, but Phantasi pushed him off, and that's a smart play by Phantasi. But he misses the jump. Nice turnaround up the lift, but he doesn't quite connect. Still in control. He's got 15 seconds till the belt spawns. Demon will be able to challenge it as he gets that 25 armor. It's just a question of where Phantasi wants to be. He's stuck down low, but can deny that shock rifle if Demon needs it for ammo. He's just going to stand in there, and Demon missing some shot primary. He's going to throw some combos behind him. Eats a sniper. Oh, Demon has to be careful here. He's only got 100 HP. There's another sniper. Rocket around the corner. Could take him out. Oh, that flak ball just barely grazed him. The shard off the ball hit him. Now Demon's got Phantasi in a tough spot. Back in that corner, but still no armor for Demon. A little bit more damage from a flak ball. Some of these flak balls have been kind of low-key, low-key scary. They've been just an inch away from taking out Demon. Phantasi with the pure prediction on some of those. Demon down to 21 HP. Phantasi can push the lead to 2 if he can track him down. Still snipeable. He's running around with the shock out, I think looking for that combo to deny him that corner. Nice delay. I'd say 99% of players probably don't even connect that combo, let alone get the damage off of it. Big combo now from below, and Phantasi again with a perfect prediction. And the direct rocket. Is that the 6th or 7th direct rocket? He's just torpedoing him left and right, making rockets look like they're insta-gib. Rain and meat fireworks down all over the map, and Phantasi is in control about halfway through, looking for it again. Oh, looking for the splash damage off the column. Anyone out there who's trying to improve your rockets, go back and look at moments like that in slow motion and try to run through the check down, through the flow charts in the mind of the person shooting them. Phantasi there didn't go for the midair rocket that time because he knew he had him lined up. He looked at the column, wanted to get the splash damage, dove off, saw him dive off the column, dodge off it rather, waited for him to land, took him out there. You saw the rockets again around the corner. Every kill that he gets with rockets, you know that that's just building up stress in Demon's head too. You know that he hates going up against that. That said, it's still only a 5-frag lead. We're halfway through this map. It's a great position for Phantasi to be in, but we'll go to Demon's perspective and see what it looks like. You can rack up kills reasonably fast in this map. 5 minutes is plenty of time for 5 kills. Even 6 for that matter, as Phantasi finishes him off with that sniper. But now's when it's tough. Now's when you look at the... Ooh. Oh, nice link chase down there, completely obliterating his stack. But you can't dive back into him and give up another kill if you're Demon. You did a little bit of damage. You got to get something out of it. He wasn't able to get to that 100 armor. And I think maybe Demon, knowing that he can beat most players in a toe-to-toe, just straight fragging contest, sometimes he baits himself into getting into those situations where he dives at him with a disadvantage. He gets baited in. We've seen that against Phantasi in the past. I think that's something that Phantasi is really using to close that gap. I mean, Phantasi obviously is a great fragger. Ooh, but he's really catching him out of position, and that's how he's winning these fights. He's baiting him in. Again, Stinger versus Link. We've seen this matchup, but the extra health and armor for Phantasi is going to give him an advantage, and just hitting that shot. What a clutch shot by Phantasi. If he misses that, he gives up belt. Who knows what happens? Uh-oh, Demon conceding. And 3 maps in a row. Phantasi coming back from the lower bracket. Number 5 seed. We called him a dark horse pick early on in the pregame. He had given Demon fits in prior matches. We saw another classic matchup from them earlier in the upper bracket. Ultimately, Demon coming out on top again. Phantasi coming out, losing the first map on Erase, and then hangs in there, knows that he has some more shorter range, some maps that are more his playstyle coming up. Takes 3 in a row, and Phantasi finally ends Demon's streak. Demon had been red hot, 10-0 in Community Cups coming into this one. Had been undefeated up into the Grand Finals. We can take a look at that. And Phantasi coming through the lower bracket. We'll even raise the music for that one. You know, that was a great win there from Phantasi. I mean, you look at... Let's just look at the run, right? Look at the run. I mean, you saw... started off... Where was he? Against Plasma, right? Plasma, someone who's been kind of on the come up, right? Someone who could definitely outplay a seed, dangerous player. Took him out, played Snatch. Snatch, really one of the only people that's beaten Phantasi in the past year and a half. Took him out 2-1. So, you know, facing elimination, a close matchup there. Ends up going to Demon. Demon 1-2-0, but we saw those matches. They were dead even, really close. You should definitely go back and watch those VODs on Dusic's stream. That's twitch.tv/DusicFPS. He casted the first half of this match, or this tournament rather. Yeah, so then that knocked him down to the lower bracket. Phantasi coming down, taking out Sass, who is red hot himself, right? Coming in, overplaying his 8 seed up to that top 6. Took him out, dispatched Reflex after that. Took out Yi. I mean, look at this, you know, look at this lineup that Phantasi had to fight through to get to the winner's bracket, only to be a map down against Demon. Demon had that first map pick, right? Picked a race. Took him up 2-0. He was facing elimination, won 3 in a row. So just really a nice comeback there by Phantasi. And we're up to 100 viewers too, so I appreciate that. I think we've just kissed the triple-digit mark. I know we've had folks from all over the world, South America, North America, Europe, You know, a little bit of Asia. I don't know if we've had any Australian folks joining us, but certainly welcome. But yeah, there's been, I think there's a $4,000 prize pool here, and I don't exactly know how it's broken down. I'll let the admins cover that. Certainly, we had some classic matches all the way down, even that like the 5 and 6 match, Crytek versus SAS. You know, we talked about Demon versus Phantasi being like a really classic grudge match over the last year or so. Crytek versus SAS is turning into one, dead even between those two. Be really curious to see, you know, what happens in later tournaments, upcoming tournaments. We saw Yi come through his second major tournament that we've seen him play in. Took Phantasi to 3 maps, right? 3rd place finish, certainly a good showing for him. And then some of the folks that couldn't make it, right? Like we had a couple of folks had to bow out. You had Soap Smells Good, who much like SAS had really outplayed his seed last tournament. Came up, had to bow out, but curious to see how he fits into things moving forward. You see the bracket updating there. You know, Killing, again, appreciate Killing, really was helpful in organizing this thing. He had to bow, he had to step out of the last minute, give up his spot because he had some work stuff to do, but he helped run and he helped organize it. Was instrumental in the streamers on our side, kind of organizing and getting ourselves into the right matches. So shout out to him, you know, finding a way to help out even though he couldn't play. And shout out to the viewers. I'm seeing 103 right now. So again, everyone from all over the world hanging out. Appreciate that, chatting, having fun, talking smack. You know, it's been all good. I really appreciate the vibe that we've gotten during these events. I mean, if someone wants to jump on and give us an interview, that's on Phantasi. I'll jump into Discord if he wants to join us and talk about it. If he wants to flex a little bit, he certainly can.
Hello? What up?
What's up, man? Hold on, let me lower your volume just a touch. All right, so Phantasi joining us.
Oh man, I feel like Hydro. I had like 2 Red Bulls today.
Is that your normal routine? I know this isn't what people want to hear about, but I'm always curious because like some people think, you know, energy drinks make you jittery. Some people think that's just how they're used to playing. That's like normal for them.
I definitely so the first time I played Demon, I was definitely jittery, and even when I played, I think when I played Snatch, right, I was gonna, you know, I just my aim wasn't steady. And so a couple of guys messaged me, you know, after I was, you know, going through the losers bracket, just to relax my sniper aim, and I mean, it definitely helped, right? Because if you're trying to hit twitch shots and you're on caffeine, I don't think it's a good idea. So I think it's just better to, you know, to steady aim it.
Yeah, I mean, you tend to over aim, I think, a lot of times when you're a little too hype, right? You got to kind of calm yourself down. So, I mean, you and Demon, you know, I know that you guys know each other. I mean, what is your, I don't want to say relationship, like what is your competitive relationship? Just so that for the viewers that may not know that you guys, you know, played on teams together and such, like how well do you know each other?
I mean, we played what 2 seasons of UTPL together. So normally before like a big matchup where there was like SAS or CC, I'd duel Demon. And so that's kind of, you know, we played each other for a while, but ever since he got into, you know, when he switched to his 165 hertz monitor, he's just been farming people. It's like his aim is nuts. So I think you really gotta, either your aim has to be on fire or you better hit every projectile when he's up close.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like to me, whenever he first came out with, you know, let's just call it the hardware upgrade, his Link in particular, you know, tracking weapons really improved a lot, which makes a lot of sense when you think about, you know, just upgrading to a high refresh rate and all of that and the control you get from that. So, I mean, when you go up against him, denying weapons isn't as big of a thing in this game just because of the respawn times, but you do still see it sometimes. You see people like on Deep, you know, cycling through Shock, for instance. You certainly see people trying to deny the spawn on sniper on a race. We've seen that
Yep.
from both sides a couple of times. Is there any particular strategy when you go up against someone like Demon, or is it more or less just execution?
I mean, it's a little of both, right? It's definitely execution, but it's like like maps like Erase. I can't I don't have the aim that V or no, sorry V Yi. Well, V has good aim too, but Yi or Demon or Reflex have, and so Erase is one of the I'd say the heaviest sniper maps. And so once you're out of control, like they can just run a train on you in a sense. But I think it's for me, it's better to pick slower maps. And ASTF is not necessarily slow, but maps like Solo and Deep, where you can actually stack up, grab health, regroup for the next fight. I think those are the better maps against guys with really great aim.
Yeah, so one thing I noticed too is that there's been a lot more Stinger usage during this tournament. Were there recent changes to it? Is it just kind of I hate the word meta, but is that just like the thing people are doing now? Even like Stinger versus Link, people were backing away with Link out. They were saying, I don't want any part of that heads up duel.
So I mean, so it was a mixture of two things, right? Link got a nerf, so he went from 5 per tick to 4 per tick, and then Rockets and Flak got buffed, right? And so it was no more like snipe somebody, switch to Link, and they die with they die. Now it's you switch to sniper switch is also slower. Sorry. Now it's you pushing in against projectiles, like projectiles are actually something to be feared again. So you either hit all your long range shots, or you switch to minigun, because minigun it's similar to Link, but it has a lot more distance, so you don't have to run into somebody's rockets or their flak ball.
Yeah, I mean, if finishing from a close range against projectiles is more dangerous, then switching to the finisher that has infinite range makes a lot more sense.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what about map selection? You've had actually when you placed Demon early on in the tournament, if I'm not mistaken, you guys played, was it a race in Leah?
Yep. Yep.
You actually did better on a race against him than I expected.
The first time.
We've seen you give him fits on Leah. How did the map selection go for the finals? I'm not actually sure what the order was or anything. Like obviously a race came out first, and you went to the smaller maps, but we didn't see Leah come out. Was that something that was banned? Was that something that you specifically didn't choose?
So my strategy was right. The only map I've seen Demon like get beat somewhat badly on is ASTF. So I was like, I'm not picking Leah again. He's beating me 2 tournaments in a row on Leah. I'm not gonna. And I lost a snatch last tournament on Leah. So Leah is just not, not the map for me. So I picked ASTF. I mean, Reflex has beaten him there maybe once or twice now. But yeah, I picked that map, and then he banned Leah. So he had banned. So he, obviously he had two. He had an extra ban because he had the 1 map advantage. So his first ban was Mythic. I banned Alanis, and then it just kind of went from there. Like I picked ASTF, and then he banned. Like I said, Leah. He banned Leah, and so then it ultimately ended up being race ASTF, solo indeed.
Gotcha. And have there been? I mean, when you saw that map list, you guys, again for folks that aren't familiar, like you guys have played a lot together. You generally have a decent idea, at least in practice matches, how things have gone. Sometimes it translates into tournament matches. Sometimes it doesn't. I go back to like in fighting games, you'll talk about like an 8-2 matchup versus a 6-4 matchup or whatever. How did you feel going into that? Like seeing that map? I mean, obviously feeling a race coming out first, put you down, facing elimination. You're probably not confident. I don't think anyone's confident going up against Demon on a race, though you did play well against him earlier in the day. I mean, I don't know. What was your thoughts going into the finals, seeing that map list?
I mean, obviously you're not supposed to think this, but race was like a lost cause, like going in. So my goal was just win the next 3 maps, right? Because I don't really necessarily have the aim for a race, at least not in UT Plus. Like in stock, it's a little slower because of the weapon switch, but in UT Plus, I definitely don't think I have the aim to beat the better aimers.
Yeah, I mean,
but in terms of weapons, not to cut you up, in terms of in terms of maps, Demon kind of hates ASTF. I mean, he hates ASTF as well. So I've grinded a lot of ASTF, right? So that's why that was my pick. And then even maps like solo, I haven't played Demon too much on that, but we're both, I'd say, pretty good solo players. And then Demon for a long time was like the deep master in NA, so that one was a toss up. But I think he was just ready for this thing to be over, kind of thing.
Well, I've noticed that you've been able to catch him on maps like ASDF and Deep. you've caught him crossing the map, like crossing, because those maps are kind of radial. It's kind of like a circle with then like crisscrosses through the middle. You've caught him with combos and rockets crossing through the middle of the map more than most people. You hit, I think, 6 or 7 midair rockets on him today, largely catching him being aggressive, taking risks. Is that a conscious thing? Like, do you just sort of at this point, you kind of have player profiles in your head? Like, if you played someone 1,000 times, you just kind of instinctively know what to expect them to be.
I think it's a little bit of both, right? So I would say for 95% of my UT career, I was playing 4-3 stretched. And so last tournament, Reflex was like, hey, switch to 1080p. But this was like the week of the tournament. So I was like, nah, I won't do that. And so I ended up getting what, 5th place? Yeah, I got 4th, whatever, 4th or 5th place. I don't remember. Anyway, this tournament, I was like, you know what? I'm going to, use 1080p only. And so the first thing I noticed when I switched to 1080p is that my aim with every gun got better. And so, prediction rockets, even, prediction flak balls or just sniper. I think that played a big part in it. It's just using 1080p instead of stretched.
Gotcha. So yeah, if anybody out there is using 4-3 stretched, I'm sure there's probably 0. But if anyone's thinking about it, if you want to be like Phantasi, play like normal.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, a lot of folks may or may not know this, but you've been kind of instrumental with also helping run some of these tournaments. If you want to give people a quick, both description of how kind of what your role has been in organizing these, and also if there's any shout outs to other people that have been helping you out with it.
Definitely San Killing, basically everyone from the staff, right? If anybody that was home, like people left midway, you went Dusik, like just thanks to everyone that made this one of the better tournaments.
Yeah, and we've had I haven't been keeping track actually. We probably should. We almost need our own like esports earning website for UT events. I mean, any shout outs to specific folks that have been donating? We haven't really had like sponsors per se. There's just been the community donating left and right, and the same thing, showing love to obviously us streamers in our stream.
Yeah, I mean it's usually the same donors, but they know who they are. So I will Exit donated the first 3,000, and then we had an anonymous donor for the other 1,000. So thanks to Exit and the other donor. But yeah, this was a great event. I'm glad everyone had fun, and there's a couple upsets, right? Like SAS was powering through. Crytek made it to the top 6.
Yeah,
Top
Crytek
5,
and
no,
SAS,
Crytek got
they were seeded 8 and 9. Crytek they finished 5th and 6th. Right, that was our 5 versus 6 match. So 2 players, and I called it out on stream. They both kind of outplayed their seeds in prior tournaments, and that's how they got. I mean, I thought SAS being a number 8 seed was not a stretch, but that was sort of a new thing. Like it was sort of something he had earned by outplaying prior seeds, being kind of double-digit seeds in prior tournaments, and then taking out Plasma and Rookie back to back to finish in that 5-6 spot, and then Crytek taking out Snatch, probably the upset of the tournament. Snatch of course playing from Europe, so not like a favorite, but certainly, I mean, he's been playing with high ping for a while. He's still going to be scary no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, Snatch is definitely, I would say, the best dueler from Europe. So every time you face him, you got to bring your A game, or he's gonna send you to the losers bracket or send you home. So it was definitely well played to Crytek and to SAS, and just thanks to everyone who played. And so we, like I mentioned, we had gotten an extra 1K today. So I got to figure out how the breakdown's gonna be, but it's basically gonna be the same percentage as the previous 3K.
Okay, so even more money for the breakdowns.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy coming at this point. And then shout out, I see some people are throwing bits out on my stream. Appreciate that, everybody. I will work on getting that pop-up fixed. But I don't know, anything else like upcoming events that we want to talk about? I don't know of anything coming up at the moment. I mean, I'm sure that this momentum is gonna continue to some extent.
Sure.
Through it as we get into the summer. Certainly folks are probably going to be leaving the house in the next few months at some point a little bit more, but definitely, like I said, a lot of events. That when I was pulling stats for this, I was looking, we had like 4 or 5 community cups just for Duel in the past year and a half, and that's on top of all the UTPL stuff. We've seen a lot of activities, so I mean, I don't know if we had anything else planned that you're aware of. Certainly, I know it's there's always something in the works.
Sure. So I know there's a CTF draft by Samix, but short term, I'm not sure what's next. Maybe Reeve is his EU monthly cup thing will be the next thing that happens. But as far as NA, I think everyone wants a break, so maybe the next Duel Cup, maybe 3 to 4 months. But I think. Oh, sorry. I think there is a limb draft in the works, so that'll be, I think, the next thing for NA, or with salaries, whatever. But I think the next thing is at a limb cup.
Gotcha. All right, well, that's all I got from my side, man. If there's any other questions in chat, actually, that'll probably take them like, I'm on a 20-second delay, so it'll probably take you guys a while to get them in. I should have asked that like 5 minutes ago. But otherwise, at the end of the last second, shout outs, comments to, you know, other players or anyone watching or anything.
Adrian, I did it. No, I'm kidding. No, just thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to UConn and to Deucic for streaming. And hopefully there's more events, you know, to see some more great plays. That's all I got as well.
All right, well, with that, I'm going to roll on out of here. Appreciate everyone for hanging out. As always, shout out to the players, to the admins. This tournament, honestly, flew right along for the number of people we had in it. So appreciate that, everybody. Thanks, you know, Fantasy, for joining us, and congrats on the win. And shout out to everyone for hanging out, chatting, even just watching and throwing it on your TV in the living room while you, I don't know, bake brownies, whatever you did with your day. Appreciate you sharing it with us, and be on the lookout. My VODs will be up, obviously, on this Twitch, YouTube/ConX5, Twitch/Deucic FPS. He casted the first half of the matches. You definitely want to go back and watch those. And yeah, I'll want to appreciate, or again, give appreciation for everyone for taking part. And I'll see you guys next time.